will get settled back in. Just sit back, enjoy, and it's a pleasure being part of the user group meeting today. And it's my first time attending, and appreciate everybody taking time to meet with everybody, network, and review new features. And certainly look forward to getting engaged with any companies that have not reviewed EDA in the past. So just very brief intro, and then I'm going to walk you through a live demonstration. And first off, so my name's Phillip Spencer, and I support all the Epicor manufacturing CAMs for the EDA solution. And once again, Epicor Data Analytics. The solution is developed by Phocas Software. We partnered with Epicor just about 6 years ago now, and we've created a nice solution that has a lot of pre-built content that really is going to show and provide a lot of value to companies throughout the organization very quickly. So we're going to go over a lot today, but please keep any questions, feel free to channel those to the chat, and then I encourage you to notate my email. So if you have any questions or you want to set up a discussion afterwards, our goal is to be able to connect with you, and also you can reach out to your Epicor account managers, and they can coordinate any follow-up meetings with myself. So I would imagine we probably have a good mix of companies that have never heard of EDA. Probably some have seen it over the years, and I'm sure there's even a few EDA users on the meeting today. So certainly look forward to hearing any feedback if anybody has, being a current user, and then also look forward to engaging to show you guys how this integrated data analytics, financial planning, and budgeting solution can help the organization. So just a few quick slides as we kind of queue up the conversation, then we'll jump into the demo. But once again, EDA powered by Phocas Software, and just a very quick background, Phocas Software, we've been specializing in business intelligence for the past 21 years. And we formed a strong partnership with Epicor 6 years ago to provide the EDA solution to all their manufacturing and distribution clients. And we have roughly just over 450 Epicor clients leveraging EDA now. And that's going to be a combination of manufacturing and distribution. And a couple things to note how we've really built up and expanded on the capabilities of EDA. When we first released, the solution was really geared on analytics, dashboard creation, reporting, helping customers automate distribution of key KPI metrics from sales, production, purchasing, inventory, operation data. And we also had financial data in there. And that was really for deep dive analysis, setting up simple and easy to share reports. And we started seeing such a large interest in more capabilities with financial reporting. We had quite a few requests just after people had adopted the solution and started leveraging the ad hoc reporting capabilities. They were saying, hey, look, we love the user interface. Do you guys have any thoughts or any potential to help us create our financial statements? And then even some budgeting conversations started to happen. And this is years ago. And then right when COVID was starting, we ended up releasing the financial statements and budgeting and forecasting modules. So we're going to kind of give you a preview of those today. And once again, so we've grown from this analytics option that Epicor offers. And a couple other things to note, Phocas has been consistently rated as the top dashboard software, the easy to use business intelligence solution for end users, and not really just data scientists and people with extreme technical backgrounds creating SQL scripts and BAQs. This is something that you're able to empower your team to have at their fingertips. So just a very little bit, I wanted to just kind of build up a little bit who Phocas is, so you have an understanding who you're talking with, who Epicor works with to provide this solution. And here's one of the reports from industry analysts over at the Front Runners report. Phocas and EDA was labeled the top dashboard software, and once again, that's based on ease of use, the higher level of user adoption, and that was based on our analytics performance over the years. And this is my last slide, and we'll jump in. Once again, EDA has really grown to be a company-wide tool for financial planning, analysis, and budgeting all within the single platform. So it's no longer just, okay, data analytics and dashboard creation. There's a lot more value that we're bringing to finance departments to help them with their budgeting process, then also the statement creation. So I'm going to shift over to a different screen in just a second here. All right, where do we go? Just if we could do a quick check. Did that shift over? Are you looking at the Epicor Data Analytics homepage?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So we're in your web browser?
Yes, that's correct. Thanks for confirming. All righty. So on that note, that's a great comment right there. So EDA is a web-based platform. And the nice thing is you're going to be able to access EDA whether on site, visiting clients, suppliers, traveling to conferences. EDA is optimized to for the user to actually pull this up on not only on their laptop computer, also on mobile devices, tablets. So walking through the warehouse, walking through any meeting room, you can easily pull it up on a mobile device, and it's optimized to view very nicely there. And also with that, you can present this and have it set up on monitors throughout board meetings. So if in your conference room, anywhere throughout the office and organization, you're able to publish dashboards, and not only that, but pull them up and do ad hoc analysis while you're in meetings. So when questions come up, instead of having to say, all right, well, let's get these details after the meeting or tomorrow, we'll relay back to everybody. There's the potential to empower people to say, all right, let's take 30 seconds and do a quick analysis and find out what the answer is or maybe what's not going on. So just wanted to touch on the web-based solution. And then EDA is fully implemented by Epicor Professional Services. So not only is it implemented by the team at Epicor, it's a very lightweight project. So you don't have to take on this enormous task and shuffle this with other priorities. It's something that's commonly implemented on the back end when you have major upgrades to either your ERP or you have significant projects that are 6 or 9 month long processes, where EDA typically, once the order is approved and Epicor provides you the countersigned document, we'll schedule a kickoff call, and that's usually 1 to 2 weeks right after the approval. And then in that meeting, we're going to kind of talk through implementation, schedule the training sessions, go over any business process review to say, all right, here's all the standard content that we're providing out of the box, and walk with you to understand, okay, specific reports that you'd like us to develop and bring to you as a deliverable upon go live. And just take a quick pause. And on that note, when I mentioned pre-built content, so a couple of huge benefits with EDA is we've done all the heavy lifting for you. So versus when companies go out and source another business intelligence tool, and there's a lot of good ones on the marketplace, I'm sure you all know. There's a lot of research out there. In fact, we just received the 2023 BARC survey for BI and data analytics solutions, and happy to share a copy of the report afterwards. But Phocas, once again, received 37 top awards in various verticals and way they're analyzing and providing real nice, helpful guides for companies reviewing business intelligence. So with all that, on the pre-built content, we've done a lot of the work where we have a lot of dashboards and favorite style reports that are designed specifically for manufacturers. So we've worked with companies over the years, we've fine-tuned reports, and we've brought a lot of new content based on feedback. So when you go live, you're able to leverage all this content right away. You don't have to worry about, okay, well, now we bought this solution, we have to have our data scientists set up the connection and build out all this content so our teams can start using it. You go live and you have access to all this pre-built content. Your data is automatically loaded in there, and it really decreases the time where you're going to get your return on your investment. So touching on that very quickly, we're going to dive right in now and show you some of the features and walk you through the tools. So when you log into your homepage, it will be your company name.epicoranalytics.com. And based on user permission settings, they're going to have access to all sorts of dashboards, databases if you want them to have full permission settings to do that deep dive analysis, create new content, and then these alerts and favorites categories. So for example, a couple things on here. We'll talk on favorites and alerts, and then we're going to show a visualization, and I'm going to jump right in. So a couple things that EDA is going to help you with is not only shorten the time for report creation, it's going to eliminate a lot of the back and forth when you do have your technical team building out, extracting, analyzing, putting those spreadsheets together, then sending them to the team. When those leaders or end users get the reports and say, oh, this is great, I have questions, and next time can you also include these fields, or can you put this time frame in there so we can compare? Really what EDA provides them with is the ability to look at the report and then ask questions and then kind of answer it on themselves by themselves, because they have the ability to do that quick analysis. So the favorite type reports are going to be something that you want to have, you create, you're going to access often. Then you also maybe want to schedule so people can say, all right, every Monday morning, I'd like this customer sales and gross margin and revenue dollar sent to me at 7:30. They can subscribe to that favorite report, and then at that specific time, they're going to get an email notification to either view it as a spreadsheet, a PDF, or a link to log in and view the live dashboard or the grid style kind of spreadsheet report, if that's the method they prefer. And then on the alerts, just real slight difference. It's going to also be similar reports that you want to access often, but more importantly, you want people or specific people to be notified when something takes place. So for example, if it's jobs are falling behind, components are short, and you have a open PO and they're delayed, if it's accounts are falling past due, really any scenario that you would want to actively watch and make sure the proper people are notified immediately, that's what alerts are going to be leveraged as. And you have the ability to create as many alerts and favorites as possible. So there's no limitations on how much data, how many reports you can add from after getting all the pre-built content. So just kind of want to talk you through, show you what the home page looks like, and we're going to dive in. So I just shifted to another tab. This is in my personal demo environment. I just wanted to kind of start here while we dive in. So this is more of an executive style dashboard, something I created. So being a salesperson, I don't have a major technical background, although in my previous company, I was actually took it upon myself. I was also in sales, but wasn't getting the specific reports that I wanted. I didn't have access to the data. So every Friday afternoon, I was exporting from our ERP, doing the analysis and setting up some nice reports within Power BI, which I'm sure most of you or all of you are aware of. And I was spending a couple hours each Friday afternoon building those for myself, my counterparts, and then also providing a company report. And I did this just because I wanted to have information and share it for the company, because they weren't providing that on a regular basis. So when I found out about Phocas and what they do, really piqued my interest. My brother's been an Epicor account manager for 15 years and immediately saw this makes so much sense. So I shifted over 2 years ago, and I've been supporting the manufacturing client base since. So jumping back in, I just want to provide a little bit more details. Okay, once again, an average person, non-technical, background, no data scientist, you're able to set up dashboards and reports very simply within EDA. So as we're kind of scrolling across and looking at this data, just want to make a couple comments. I have a lot of information here. It's kind of an executive overview. So I have sales database, inventory, accounts payable, financials. So you can have multiple data sources and data points, point into a dashboard. So you can not only have a specific dashboard for sales or production and purchasing, you'll have those very specific dashboards. You can also have dashboards with more of a wide or broad vision, so people can have more of an insight on what's going on throughout the entire organization. So as I'm scrolling down, you'll see there's different ways to visualize the data. There's all sorts of line charts, your standard kind of visualizations you'd expect within a tool like this. And you'll see there's a lot of grid style data. And what I want to show you here is right now we're looking at the entire organization. We can quickly narrow down from a dashboard though. So if I were to make a selection and say, I just want to see how one customer is impacting the business, or how this salesperson's impacting the organization, or how we're doing in a specific part class or even a part level, we can get that data right from here. So just by making a simple selection, I'm going to go ahead and highlight that, now hit focus, and now you'll see we have this kind of query being built up top. It's based on the customer with the ship to ID this. So now all of our entire dashboard refreshed to show results only for that customer. And if we wanted to continue narrowing down, drilling down, we could add more details if it was, okay, now I want to see by product class or whatever it might be. And then just as easily, we can click the reset button. It's going to refresh and set everything back to how the dashboard was when we started. So the entire business. And that's just a very quick, okay, we went from this 30,000 foot view from the dashboard. We narrow it down a little bit more detail. And now what I think the biggest benefit is, I'm going to show you how we can go directly from a dashboard to the database. So for example, let's just go ahead and pick on our list of accounts. I'm going to select this Analyze button. And now it just launched us to a new tab, and that brought us to the actual sales database within EDA. And for right now, my focus demo environment. So we just went from our dashboard to the database, and this is where you're going to spend a lot of time doing your deep dive analysis, setting up new content, doing your analysis, et cetera, et cetera. So we're looking for the month to date sales based on our customers by ship to location. And I have it set right now on the variance mode. So it's showing us current versus previous with a revenue difference as well as a margin percentage or a percentage difference. We can easily shift a perspective and say, all right, maybe I don't want to see variance. I just want to see total, or maybe I want to stream in and see how our actuals are versus what we're forecasting. Very, very simple to do. So let's just select total for right now. We'll kind of shift around. Now we're looking at the month to date time period, sales based on our customer ship to, and it's in revenue. So maybe we want to add a little bit more detail in here and find out what's actually going on. We can select this measures drop down and say, all right, I want to see margin percentage and I want to bring in profit. Now it's going to quickly refresh. We're looking at that same list of customers for the month to date time period. Now we have brought in profit amount as well as margin percentage. And a couple things to note here. EDA is, while we provide you a lot of content out of the box, you're not stuck with that. So all the dimensions, all the measures, all the fields that are currently synced to show up in EDA, you can also add additional ones. So if what you see is not what you see on here is not what you want, you can add a custom mode and start entering calculations and setting up additional options to display based on what you want to see. An additional with the time periods, very similar. You're going to have a lot of options out of the box. You can also make custom time periods, and you can add new views that will be available as your standard view moving forward. And we'll just take a sec to talk on permission settings. You're able to get real granular, so you can restrict access or grant as much access to each user as much as you would like or as little as you'd like. And then regarding users, just a quick second to talk through. The EDA licenses are going to be named users, and it will be a separate login from EDA. So some people say, well, why do I have to have another license? A couple nice things on that is they don't have to be or don't have to have a login for Epicor to leverage EDA. If you have numerous people that aren't using Epicor, they can still get to the data and find out what's going on with the business based on reviewing everything in EDA. So there are pros and cons, but we'll have numerous options. You can have a couple options for user licenses for full users as well as view users. So if you don't want to have a lot of people creating new content, setting up new dashboards, drilling into details, you can offer them view user licenses, and then they can consume all the data. So whatever dashboards are published, they'll have access to review those, but they won't need to be that higher price license for creating any content. So want to just kind of show you. So from this grid view, what can we do? A couple ways we can quickly analyze and find out what's going on. So maybe I don't want to see profit margin, and we want to look at the total revenue and then say, all right, based on customer shipped to, I want to identify, what my number one customer for this month is purchasing. And we can easily just select one, two, or all of them and hit this focus button. And now I've narrowed down on this specific customer, and we can say, all right, let's see how it breaks down by product class. And now we see, all right, here's the breakdown of what they're purchasing by each product class. And then if we wanted to kind of go a little bit more deep, and we can make another selection and continue that train till get down to the actual product level. So now we see what this specific customer is purchasing by part level under this product class. So very simple to go from that high level to drill into details. And then one of the real nice things is if, or when I should say, people have questions and they want to find out, all right, well, what is contributing to this amount, for example, and this can be used throughout the solution. So whether you're in sales, purchasing, or a finance database, you can simply right click in the grid, and then it will be you'll be able to go down to the transaction. So for this one, it was only a $2,200 order. Looks like it was one invoice for this specific item. So pretty straightforward, but that would be helpful when you're looking at 100 line items and you're trying to identify, okay, what was off because this number just doesn't look right. You can view that entire list, and if you need to, you can go ahead and download it, take it offline, have somebody review the spreadsheet, and when they find the errors, they can go ahead and make those changes back in Epicor and then clean up the system, and then it would sync back into EDA and you'll have accurate data. So I want to just take a very quick pause. I'm not sure, have any questions or comments come up in the chat yet? I wasn't seeing anything. I just want to give that.
Not so far. You're good so far.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for that. And feel free to just jump in if something does come up. So going back into the sales database, I'm going to go ahead and reset. And we'll look at a little bit more data. So we're going to look at rolling 12 months based on customers. And a couple things in here. Whenever you want to add content to a dashboard or save it as a favorite report, very simple to do. So maybe we want to identify a declining sales trend within our customers or even by our products. So we can simply just go ahead and highlight the customers by ship to. I'm going to shift from total. I'm going to go ahead and do the period mode. And now it's going to break it down. It's going to show us total revenue as well, along with the monthly periods for each account. So what we can do within EDA is one quick note. You'll see at the bottom right now there's a list of about 1,800 accounts. And we want to identify, okay, what customers are dropping off, who's slowing down, and we need to understand, okay, why is that? Is that due to orders where we weren't able to fulfill business and they're just waiting on a bunch of open orders? Or is it they've actually started taking their business elsewhere? We need to get our salespeople engaged, help them drive that business back and get back on track. So within the grid, I'm going to go ahead and, since November, we're pretty early on, I wouldn't show a lot of growth. So I'm just going to start within the October period. So in October, I'm going to go ahead and right click. And now we'll say, all right, let's take a look at accounts that have October is going to be less than September. And it's going to refresh. And we'll do that once again. We'll say, let's do that same thing for September is going to be less than August. And we're narrowing down our list. So we went from about 1,800, we're down to about 111. I could keep going if I wanted to set up a true like 3-month trend. But from right here, what we can do is we need to get this to our salespeople. So if it's the sales manager or director building this report and then distributing it to the team. They can go ahead and export if they wanted to share a PDF or a spreadsheet. But more importantly, they could go ahead and say, all right, I want to just set it up as a favorite. And now once it's a favorite, it's going to be able to be sent to the team. If it's a monthly basis, you want them to review these accounts, or if it's weekly, we can go ahead and save a favorite report and then have those people subscribe to that report to be notified when they would like to. So that's a couple different options for that. They can also add it to a dashboard if they wanted to have this published on a dashboard for people to review often. And then when you have a large team or when you want to restrict specific data for maybe by territory or salesperson, each user as they log in, you only have to create the report or dashboard once, and based on their territory or their permission settings, they'll only see the list of customers that are in their territory. So you don't have to say, all right, I need to create a report for each of my 20 or however many salespeople. It's you do it once and everybody logs in. They're going to see their own unique view based on the permission settings. So just a very simple use case. Usually once people see how easy it is for their salespeople to get engaged and actually know really good data on their customers, just imagine, I mean, something as simple as this specific use case, we see it's pretty often where, hey, just doing this one simple thing, my team was able to increase business and bring it back to our company, and that's paying for their EDA subscription. So it's just little things like that. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of. Oh, yes, sir. Go ahead.
Can a report be emailed to a distribution group who doesn't have access to EDA?
That's a great question. Absolutely. So you can, one, download it, save it as a PDF or spreadsheet if that's the method you want to send to that person outside of your company, or if they don't have access to EDA. You can also, let me do this. Yeah, I'll go back to our dashboard and you'll notice this little blue link here. It basically says this dashboard has an external link. So you can share dashboards to anybody outside of EDA. So if this is something that you wanted to publish to a specific team of people or one person, as long as you have a minimum of 15 user licenses, you can share these externally to people that do not have a login for EDA. So if you had full dashboards, you could share those with the people and they would be able to simply click on that and it would open up the dashboard. They just wouldn't be able to edit, change anything, or do that analysis. They would be able to see all the content on the dashboard. All right, thanks again for that question. So I'm gonna go ahead and reset once again. So we've kind of looked at working with the data. Just make a quick note. The dimensions down here on the left-hand side, these are in my personal demo environment. So that the EDA instance, when you're logged into your instance, they're going to have the fields of the dimensions. It's going to be Epicor named. So you're going to have that familiarity like part class or part level, et cetera, et cetera. It's not going to be my kind of generic demo environment. And then bringing on additional content, it is, you're totally able to do that. So for the on-prem ERP users, you'll have that sync tool, that lightweight application installed on one of your machines, and you're able to bring in additional fields, write additional SQL scripts to pull in more data and fields from Epicor. And you also have the ability to set up a connection to data outside of Epicor. So that's another very big benefit, is when you have all this pre-built content from your ERP, once again, you're not limited with that. You are able to set up a connection to, if you have a separate CRM system, HRIS software, if you have, if you acquire a company and they're on a different ERP, you could make a connection if that's, makes more sense. So you have all these different options of bringing in data outside of Epicor, so you can analyze it all together. So right now, let's go ahead and just take a quick look. What does it take to actually add to a dashboard, put it in a visualization? So, maybe, for example, let's take a look at, product class. And now we're looking by product class sales for the past 12 months. and in this period mode. So let's take a look and just look at total. Just to keep it simple, we'll say, all right, here's our breakdown of our revenue by product class. Maybe I want to find out, hey, how is the margin for each product class? So just selected a different measure option. Once again, we could view one, multiple if you wanted to have more visibility. And now on my navigation, I can go ahead and hover over the chart icon. And then now, based on what data we want to put in a visualization and add it to a dashboard, we'll have different options on and ways to publish it. So if it made sense and we wanted to see it in a line bar or a bar graph, this might look best probably in a pie chart. We can simply just make our selection. And now let's go ahead and just save it to a dashboard. This main navigation up at the star icon, we can go ahead and not only save it as a favorite, or if this was an alert we wanted to create, but we can add it to a dashboard. And you'll have the option of creating one from scratch if you wanted to build a new one. And we'll just put this back on the top line from that original executive dashboard that we're looking at. So this is something like that. And now we can go ahead and save and open. And that dashboard is going to refresh. And I put it on the, right here, the top line. And we can easily resize if we wanted to drag this and make it a little larger. We can rearrange it if we wanted to put it in a different order. And I can also say, all right, that's not what I wanted. I don't like the look of that. I can hit this edit button, make a change right from here. Maybe probably didn't change much. If I wanted to, if that was it, I can go ahead and hit save. And now it's going to update, save it accordingly. And then we move on. And anybody logging back in, they'll be able to see that new part of the design. We can go ahead and delete it. And very simply do some analysis here. So just taking a quick time check, because I do want to touch on the financials. This is, once again, probably one of the most, or the biggest interest we're receiving is now on the financials and the budgeting solution. So my hope is we plant the seed, we get some interest, and we'd love to have one-on-one conversations at your convenience when it makes more sense. But just very quickly before we go to the financials, we'll take a look at, here we go, there's the inventory information by warehouse. So I just added this on my dashboard. I thought it was pretty interesting to have it right here. So salespeople or purchasing or whoever might need to log in here, they can quickly identify, all right, what's going on at each of our warehouses or plants, or however it's going to be set up in your business. We can simply say, all right, here now we have this option as the inventory by warehouse location, and it's going to show us, all right, here's the product classes that we have at this location. And then as I continue expanding, it is going to show down on the part level what the quantity on hand that we have. So extremely helpful for not only salespeople while they're out traveling and meeting with people. They can jump in here and find out exactly what they need to see or understand before they go meet with a client, or even while they're having the conversation when things come up, they can pull this up, and without taking too much time, they can share critical information so they can have a more efficient or a more effective meeting. So from here, I'm going to shift to another tab, and we're going to talk on the financials capabilities real quickly here within EDA. So I'm going to select this other tab, and it's going to look very similar. So once again, when we originally released EDA 6 years ago, we had the finance database. So what you would basically see is everything here except for the actual P&L right in the middle, and then the statement option. So you wouldn't have been able to create any of your financial statements within EDA. You would have access to all your GL data, your accounts payable, AR, and you could do that analysis to understand, okay, well, here's my accounts. We can drill down to that transactional level detail, but this is actually taking everything to that next level and helping finance departments create these nice dynamic statements so they can provide those with division heads, and everybody has a greater understanding. Where maybe in the past when they're reviewing spreadsheets for non-finance people, it might not be the most easy to understand and know what's going on and how their departments or division is impacting the business. Now can kind of see things quite a bit differently. So as we're looking at our P&L, you'll see right now I have a current, previous, and I do have a budget stream. Let me just go ahead and adjust the date and it will populate. So I'm going to do rolling 12 months again. And we have this nice looking P&L where we can expand on the groups and see what categories are in here. We can see how it breaks down and also shows total revenue. A lot of the times businesses are going to have different divisions. They're going to have maybe different companies that they want to report on, but then have everything consolidated and roll up to show here's our overall company, but then here's how our each division or company is going to compare side by side, whatever the requirement is on your financial reporting. So as I expand it here, you'll see it shows us the account and everything's lumped into this current company. So a couple things here real quick. Nice way to clean up and sort through the data so it's very easy to see. These dimensions on the left-hand side, I'm going to just go ahead and drag in a subgroup. And then I'll also do the GL account. And now when I go ahead and expand on any of these, the revenue, we can see the subgroup, the GL account, and now we can get back down to the root account, but it's more organized, easy to understand. So for example, I briefly showed you that one scenario where we drilled to the transactional level detail and there was one line item. So maybe right here, let's take a look at this. I'm sure there's going to be more than one line item. Go ahead and view the transactions for that root account, within the sales product class. And now we'll see all the different postings that somebody could easily, it looks like there's 100 pages. They could sort through, and when they identify, okay, well, this one just doesn't make sense and they need to make those changes. Once again, they have the data here. It's easy to identify and work with. Now they can go make those changes in ERP to actually get their company, the company system cleaned up. I'm going to go ahead and hit reset real quick and go back to our P&L, and we'll kind of show you how it's very easy to display multiple companies and do side-by-side comparison, where currently most companies are going to be exporting data. They're going to have multiple spreadsheets. They're going to probably merge different divisions or companies together, and they'll have one type of statement. So for example, right now we're looking at the total company. We can remove some of these columns. So let's just clean it up and look at our actuals. So I'm going to remove budget and previous. Now we're looking at our actuals for the rolling 12. And let's take a look at maybe company. Go ahead and just select company. And I think in here, I have 3 samples. So you can select 1, 2, or all of them. And I'm going to go ahead and hit this matrix button. Now when I go back to our summary of the P&L, we have full visibility on the total company. And then we have it broken down by each company, division, entity, group, however it's set up in your ERP and how you guys are reporting. Very simple to do, to where you have this clean details, this clean report. We can, whenever you want to take it offline, go ahead and export it, and it maintains a couple things to note. It does maintain all the formulas and formatting, so you have this nice looking spreadsheet within the that you exported from EDA. Super simple. And we can also publish this right to a dashboard, or we could add it to a favorite to be sent once again automatically to people at a specific time, that whenever they need to see it. So very, very simple to do within EDA. A couple other nice things. Let me clear this real quick. Maybe this is something we want to just kind of keep an eye on. And instead of having to look at an actual report all the time, we can publish any of this. Let me go ahead and put that back in there, the previous and budget. We can publish either any of these categories or even like a line item detail to the dashboard itself. So for example, if I wanted to kind of just take a look at sales other, I could go ahead and right click and hit visualize. Now I have this quick widget that we can add to our dashboard. So for example, right now we're seeing how we were from previous and to budgeting, or to our budget. We can add in conditional formatting if we wanted to help identify and make it stand out. And now I'm going to go ahead and let's do this on our month-end dashboard, and we'll keep it up top. And this is another nice thing. So while you're able to create your financial statements within EDA, you're not only able to distribute those as a spreadsheet when that is needed, you can also put them inside a dashboard, which makes it really convenient to where I have financial metrics and different KPIs up here. This is what we just added real quick on that value widget, and then we'll kind of keep going. But you can see a couple other categories. I'm just keeping an eye out, but you see it stands out. It's very easy to actually identify and know what's going on. Keeping an update on that every day and having better insight on the business. So as I scroll down, I have a few of the, I have the trial balance and then a few statements actually embedded in here. So here's a monthly P&L within here. And from here, I want to just give you a quick intro on how easy it is to set up a financial statement within EDA. So as I keep scrolling down, you can see there's quite a bit more detail on the dashboard. But let me go back to our financial statement, and then we'll kind of walk you through what it takes to set up the statement itself. So I'm going to go back to my financial statements database. And from this sample P&L, I'm going to go ahead and click on my star icon, and now we're going to go to the Statement Designer tool. And this is where you'll be able to not only clone reports, but more importantly, create them. So during the implementation, we're going to walk you through setting up, mapping to your chart of accounts, and then once they're set up, very simple to maintain, and then add as the business grows. So a couple of tabs right here. The Statement tab right here is how you set up the layout, the design. So you can see it's pretty straightforward if that's the design or the layout we want. When we want to make a change, we can go ahead and just drag and then drop it to a different area if that's what we wanted to do. And then adding a new group or calculation. Very simple. Once again, it's a button click. So within EDA Financials, wanted to make it extremely easy for finance professionals to do this themselves and not have to rely on IT, have that technical and that kind of coding on the back end designed to set up their financial statements. So if this is what we wanted to name it, pretty straightforward. I could save it and then we're good to go. I'm going to just go ahead and delete that very quickly here and show you what it takes to map the chart of accounts. So I'm going to delete. I just selected the other tab, the Accounts tab. You're always going to create your accounts within Epicor. Those are going to sync to EDA. And right now, I believe I don't have any that are not mapped. If I did and I clicked on that button, I would have the option to select 1, 2, or however many, and then go ahead and map them right here and save it. So for example, if this one was not mapped, I just go ahead and highlight it. And then from the drop down, I can make a selection and map it. And then I hit save. The financial statement will populate and be accurate once again because that new account's mapped. And this is probably a great use case for those alerts that we were talking about. Setting up an alert anytime a new account is created in Epicor, notify the controller or whoever's going to be updating the statements. This one needs to be mapped, and they'll get that notification as an alert to go in here and then just do what I showed you. Very simple to manage and maintain as you're expanding and growing. So I have just about a minute left. Really appreciate everybody kind of sitting through this. I hope it was helpful to understand what some of the potentials are. I know we went through a lot very quickly, and I'm talking as fast as I could without hopefully not being confusing. So please feel free to reach out to your account manager. And if you didn't get my email earlier, I'm sure Fred can share that, but happy to answer questions and talk through EDA in more details with you. So in closing, were there any other comments or questions that came through the chat?
We'll put the email and contact info in the minutes of the meeting, Phil, so everyone will go ahead and get that. And then, is there anything confidential that you were showing that we can't put in the video online?
No, sir. Totally okay.
Awesome.
All right. So I'll go ahead.
Before you started, while we were recording, I was like, "Is this okay?" I was Scott, any questions for Phil? That was perfect.
Well, I hope everybody enjoyed that. And once again, it's a pleasure to be able to be part of today's user group meeting, and really look forward to hearing additional feedback and questions as you get on with your week. So thank you once again.
Bill, we got our first question. Is there any kind of training environment from Angela Davidson?
Oh, good question. So training environment while you're in implementations, or training environment if you're a current EDA user? Is that something? And then based on the answer, we do have a lot of content that is available as ongoing education and training for EDA users. So we have a whole university of very nice library of short condensed videos that new users can always circle back on, and as they want to expand their knowledge and capabilities of using EDA, they're able to leverage that. And then you not only have access to Epicor, the implementation team, you do have direct access to the Phocas EDA representative who supports all current clients for EDA. So questions, set up trainings, talk through best practices, et cetera, et cetera.
Awesome. Angela, I went ahead and unmuted you.
Yep.
If you want to go ahead and elaborate on the question for Phil.
So basically, we're a company that has had EDA, but somebody else was doing it and has left the company. So I've kind of inherited it. And while I can go ahead and watch the videos online, I'd like somewhere that I could play without cluttering things up, because I don't know what it looked like to start, and I don't know what I can wreck.
Oh, sure, I see. So if you would like to send me an email afterwards, I can share the packing list, which will provide you details on all the standard content that's
Okay.
a deliverable. And then from there, you can say, oh, well, this is the exact same, or, oh, look at all this additional content that was created. So you have a kind of a base ground on all of this additional content was developed. And then I can share our admin training and our kind of our 101. We have a recorded training that will walk you through getting you up very quickly on the ins and outs of starting with EDA.
Okay, that'd be good, because you can watch a lot of videos, but still not really know where to begin. So.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Look forward to hearing from you. Thanks again.
Yep.
Anybody else got questions? I know we have our Stump the Chump coming up here at 2:45. We can go ahead and take a bio break here. Anybody that needs to run, go ahead and do that. And then we can go ahead and pick up at 2:45. If you have any additional questions, I have all the questions collected to date put up into a PowerPoint. I'll go ahead and share that online. Some of the answers are already in the PowerPoint. So we can kind of go over some of those. Others are literally going to be stumping the chump. If you have any questions for Phil, go ahead and throw those into the question window. We'll go ahead and get those over to him. If there are any questions like Angela did, how do I do this? Where's my training environment? Phil, do you want to hang around through the Stump the Chump if anyone brings up EDA questions?
Yes, I can definitely hang on.
Awesome. That was an easy way to rope him into that. We got to learn how to use this more.